Hello, welcome to Credit Matters TV. I'm Jeff Sexton. Today I'm joined by David Veno for a discussion of the bond insurers and the recent events with regards to the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. David, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
What is the level and type of exposure for the bond insurers to Puerto Rico?
Okay, first of all, Assured has, as of March 31st, they have about $5.3 billion of exposure to various issuers in Puerto Rico. Their largest issuer is 1.9 to the Commonwealth GOs. Everybody is really focused on PREPA's exposure, and theirs is $582 million. And this is because PREPA is the one entity that has the highest risk of near-term restructuring. Next would be National. They have about $4.8 billion of exposure, and their largest exposure is PREPA at $1.5 billion, and they have Commonwealth GO exposure about $1.2. At this time, though, Build America Mutual has no exposure to Puerto Rico.
What is the potential impact of these exposures on the bond insurers?
We wrote an article last year and refreshed it for the Industry Outlook also, where we talked about the bond insurers' exposure to Puerto Rico. And in that analysis, we did some sensitivity to a rating migration to the double B and single B category. So we added additional losses onto what losses were already in our model for that exposure to see if their capital could withstand the higher assumed losses. And National and Assured withstood it and maintained a strong capital position. We do get a lot of questions right now about what additional losses could a bond insurer incur to their exposure in Puerto Rico and still maintain their rating. Right now, Assured has about $1.5 billion of a capital cushion, and what that means is at the end of our test, it's capital that is not used to pay claims or expenses or anything else within a model. And Assured National has about $400 million. So what that means is that's the amount of additional losses that each one of the bond insurers could assume on their exposure to Puerto Rico issuers and still not have their rating changed. A way to look at it is you could take any one issuer and look at that exposure and compare that number to that exposure, and that's the write-down on that exposure that they could withstand and still maintain the rating.
In our view, how do the recent events in Puerto Rico affect our outlook and view of the bond insurers and the bond insurance sector?
Okay. We still have a stable outlook on the industry. One of the situations that the Detroit bankruptcy and the Puerto Rico stress highlight is the value of bond insurance, and we think that that's going to drive demand going forward for the product. With regard to Puerto Rico and the recent legislative action, it's hard for us to judge what the ultimate loss given default would be because of the restructuring opportunity for the issuers. But if we believe that in the future, if a muni issuer's plan of improving his financial condition includes significant and permanent write-downs or non-payment on their debt obligations, then we would revisit our recovery assumptions and our criteria. If we change the recovery assumptions or lower the recovery assumptions, that would increase the losses generated in our model, and what that would do is put pressure on the bond insurer's financial strength profile, which could ultimately affect the rating.
So some significant moving parts to keep an eye on with regards to the bond insurers.
That is correct.
Thank you, David. From all of us here at Standard & Poor's, thank you and take care.